the fight between Maki and Sukuna will finally commence. At the close of this chapter, Sukuna began to acquire an advantage in this battle with Yuta and Yuji. Technically, Sukuna would have been defeated and possibly killed if Megumi had cooperated with Yuji. Everything happened as planned, but when Yuji had to wake up Megumi, he didn't offer them his hand. This was simply due to the fact that his will to live had been broken, especially after learning that he'd slain both his sister and his teacher. Megumi no longer wanted to be alive, and that's precisely why everything fell apart in the end. Sukuna took this opportunity to retaliate with his world-bisecting dismantle, and he dealt a tremendous blow to Yuji, Yuta, all at once. At the same time, Yuta's domain started to break, and much to the surprise of the fans, that's precisely when Maki entered the battle and struck a powerful blow from behind. Maki pierced Sukuna right through his back in a manner similar to how Doji attacked Gojo in Hidden Inventory. In fact, it's quite clear for the fans to see that a parallel is being set up here, which is certainly amusing. Normally, Sukuna would have seen such an attack, but he's currently in a considerably weakened state, and his senses have dimmed significantly. At the same time, Maki took advantage of a fantastic chance to attack, and fans know she's more than capable of inflicting these lethal blows to anyone, including the King of Curses, Sukuna. Jujutsu Kaisen chapter 252 will almost probably continue the amazing duel between Maki and Sukuna. Although Maki was able to stab him, Sukuna will almost probably respond. We should keep in mind though that Maki utilized the split soul katana on Sukuna, which bypasses all defenses and targets the soul directly. As a result, Sukuna will suffer soul damage, which is extremely difficult to recover from, and something that all of the characters in the story have been concerned about. Furthermore, taking damage to the soul is very deadly for Sukuna, given that he's not in his own body, and just as with the case with Yuji, taking soul-based attacks is going to shake him to his very core and weaken him quite a lot, along with his cursed energy output and control over Megumi's body. That's precisely what Maki has already accomplished in the previous chapter and will continue to do so as the fight progresses. We should expect Maki and Sukuna to engage in a physical fight in JJK chapter 252. Maki's extraordinary speed, strength and resilience will be tested yet again. It should be noted that Maki differs from the previous JJK sorcerers who have fought against Sukuna. All of them have access to reverse curse technique, which allows them to heal from any and all injuries that they've sustained. And this can't be true for Maki. Maki lacks cursed energy and thus can't use the reverse curse method, making recovery from these assaults impossible. JJK chapter 252 will most likely accentuate this and offer viewers a new manner for Maki to battle in which he takes no damage at all, particularly from techniques like cleave or dismantle. With that being said, Maki will get some injuries from Sukuna, but they'll most likely not be fatal, at least not in the future chapter. Maki will most likely strike Sukuna with a split soul katana. As she does so, Sukuna's influence over Megumi's body is likely to deteriorate much further. Perhaps Maki will be able to rouse Megumi up before she's properly cut off, which would be extremely valuable to her group. Jujutsu Kaisen chapter 252 could very well also tackle the fate of Yuta and Yuji. In the previous chapter, as most mentioned earlier, both of them were met with a very powerful world-bisecting dismantle. This attack is one of the strongest that Sukuna has in his arsenal, and it's the same attack that killed Gojo. At the end of the previous chapter, it was clear that both Yuta and Yuji ended up sustaining terrible damage. Yuta appears to have lost his hand and was sliced right across the chest, with the cut appearing towards the back as well. This means the cut is very deep and is likely not going to be strong enough to simply brush it off. In the case of Yuji, the same logic applies. What we can be sure of is that Yuta and Yuji aren't going to die. They'll be severely incapacitated, and that's what we'll find out in JJK chapter 252. Now, given that both of them have access to reverse curse technique, they'll likely start healing themselves. However, the rate of the reverse curse technique is likely going to be slow, which means that they won't be rejoining the battle anytime soon. The reason as to why they can survive the world bisecting dismantle is simply because Sukuna isn't at his best and his own cursed energy output is very low at this point. This will make it possible for them to survive this deadly attack. It's unlikely for them to join the battle in chapter 252, however, a return could be set up towards the end of the next chapter, which is something that we're eagerly waiting for at this point already. JJK chapter 252 has a lot of other entertaining plot points left to witness as well, and it's certainly going to be a blast when the series returns.